Coach Mike here in the Coach's Corner. How to handle commercial versus theatrical audition conflicts. Okay, so let's say your agent calls you. Let's say you have two separate agents. You have an agent for commercial, an agent for theatrical. And the commercial agent calls you and says, tomorrow we have an audition for you at 1 o'clock. And then about 10 minutes later, your theatrical agent calls for you and they say, tomorrow we have a co-star, guest star audition for you tomorrow at what time? Sure enough, 1 o'clock. What do? Okay, so here's how this works. It's very strategic. First, how do you handle it? Okay, so if your agent is a screamer, here in LA, there's some screamer agents, right? You call them and say, can you change my audition time? Right? And then they get mad and, oh, you can't call, you got to hold your times, you can't change times, that kind of thing. There's even some casting directors that'll say, if you must be able to hold your audition time, you got to come at the time appointed. Well, what my rule is when I hear about this and I see these things written, if I don't see my name, they're not talking to me. Okay, that's what I say, right? So they're talking to everybody else. The rules change for me, right? So, because I have, this is important, man. I want to go on both of them. So here's what you do. If you have a screamer for an agent or you have a non-screamer agent that you don't feel you have enough leverage with or you just feel uncomfortable calling them, okay, then don't call them. Here's the plan. What happens is most of your commercial auditions have a 2 to 3 hour window. Now, this is not 100% accurate. But most commercial auditions have at least a 2 to 3 hour window per character, depending on how many principals they're casting, the size and scope of the spot. There's some variables. But I've used this to my advantage over the years, right? And it usually works out pretty well. So what I usually do is go on the commercial audition, right? Either an hour early or an hour late. I hold my theatrical time. Right? Because see, on theatrical auditions, the window is smaller. It may be an hour per character, right? That they're seeing. Let's say that the theatrical casting is casting 3 guest star players and 2 co-star players for next week's episode that we're shooting. So they'll say, and per episode, we're going to be casting all day, but per episode, we only have a 1 hour window, hour and a half window, right? So there's less flexibility. Why? Because theatrically, usually they see fewer people than a commercial audition. Commercial auditions, they see like hundreds of people sometimes per every one non-speaking role, right? So usually what you can do is go to the theatrical one, keep your time. If you can go there a little early, do it, right? But I don't know if you'll get in, right? Because usually they stick to the time per character. Especially if they're taping, because the director wants to see everyone lined up when they're supposed to be there on the tape per character. Commercials, oftentimes there's leeway. So either if my call for the commercial auditions at 1 o'clock, I'm going to go at 11:30, maybe noon. You can call the casting company and say, hey, is there a window for the AT&T? My call time's at 1. And they may say, you know what? Yeah, come at noon. They may have started your character at noon. Right? So you may call, or you may just take your chances and drive over. You may go at 2. You may say, gosh, my call time is 1, but I'm going to be at the theatrical all ready to go in by 1. I can drive over and I can be at the theatrical, the commercial by 2, right? That may work too, right? It just depends. There's variables, but I don't want you to cancel one. I don't want you to say, oh man, I got to make a choice which one I'm going to go to. I've done this several times in my career. I've always gone to the commercial audition before my appointed time, or I've gone after the appointed time, within a 2 to 3 hour window. We can't be ridiculous. My time was 1 and I'm going to come at 5. No, it's going to be done by then, or they're going to be on some other character. Again, there are variables, but you don't want to cancel, okay? That's what you do. Go to the commercial audition early, an hour maybe, or go late, because oftentimes there's a 2 to 3 hour window. Sometimes there's a 4 hour window, but again, it depends. Try to stick to your theatrical time, because oftentimes that does not have as big of a window of time as the commercial audition. Coach Mike here again with another amazing lesson coming to you from the Coach's Corner. We'll see you again. Thanks for watching.